Well, as we finish up on this last day of winter and head into spring, it's going to be feeling more like summer for us this week. Good morning. I'm Storm Track 12 meteorologist Les Still. High temperatures, upper 70s, low 80s with isolated storms around in the afternoon. Yeah, you tell me what season it is here. And that's what we're going to be dealing with for the majority of this week. Now, fog is going to be a problem in the morning hours here. This is what it's been looking like as we've slowly going through the morning hours that are time-lapse out of Oriental. And, yeah, the clouds and fog are going to be with us probably till mid to late morning hours here before we start to see some sunshine break out. And this pattern is going to repeat itself as we head on through this week. So it's feeling more like early summertime as opposed to early spring with fog around and some isolated storms in the afternoon and evening hours. Nothing severe and nothing all that widespread either for us to track. 74 to 78 is where we're going to top out at for this afternoon. Even upper 60s and low 70s at the beaches. We'll repeat it again overnight tonight. Low clouds and fog developing after midnight. Temps dropping down very similar to this morning into the mid to upper 50s and holding into the low 60s at the beaches. And then probably less of a chance of an isolated storm tomorrow, although I cannot completely rule it out. We'll see a good deal of sunshine around for the afternoon, and as a result, I think a tad bit warmer, making our way into the low 80s for inland spots tomorrow. Now, 65, that is average high temperature for this time of year, and 43 for the overnight low. You can see our numbers yesterday. We were almost 10 degrees above that, and we'll be into the 15 to 20 degree range above normal as we go on through the majority of this week. So the warmth is definitely going to continue. But that warmth has come with a price. We can take a look at some of the storm reports, almost 10 reported tornadoes in around Nebraska and Oklahoma yesterday. But I want to key in on this little cluster of hail reports coming through Ohio. This is a little upper-level disturbance, a vortex, if you will, that is riding along at the jet stream level, and this potentially could touch off an isolated storm for us later this afternoon. Notice as it goes through the overnight period here, it kind of moves off to the southeast. Now, as we pull our perspective back, you can definitely see that we've got some heavy thunderstorms coming through Oklahoma, West Texas for this afternoon. Also some heavy snow across Montana. But notice how you get to the Central Plains, things are moving from south to north. You come along the Ohio River and east of the mountains, they're moving from northwest to southeast. And a lot of that has to do with the way our jet stream is configured in the upper part of the atmosphere. It's a storm that's out there in the Central Plains that is going to be several days in the making before it finally gets its way to our neighborhood as we go on through the end of the weekend. A lot of that has to do with the way the jet stream is configured. Notice where that ridge axis is pretty much just east of the Mississippi River. So that little cluster of storms that developed in Ohio, you can see where it's going to be tracking down into our neighborhood as we go on through later this afternoon. Meanwhile, the big storm out here in the Central Plains with all this sweeping warm air shooting all the way up into central Canada is responsible for the severe weather out there. And as a result, take a look at what the radar looks like as we put it in here in motion with the upper level disturbances kind of riding along the eastern periphery of this upper level low that cuts off here over the mid-Atlantic states as we go through the middle part of this week. But this is the big key as far as our forecast is concerned for the weekend as to when that finally ejects out. And we've seen this before as we've gone through this winter here. Notice even by Thursday, we still hold this ridge axis from the Gulf of Mexico all the way up to the Great Lakes states. For us, that's going to mean a nice warm flow of air coming basically up and over the ridge and then down into our neighborhood here. But more importantly, it blocks this low pressure system from ejecting eastbound. So the question is, when does it finally break that ridge down, and just how far north is it going to be when it finally does? You'll notice here by Saturday going into Sunday, Futurecast, as far as the jet stream is concerned, still holding that ridge here along the eastern seaboard here and not allowing any showers or storms to really penetrate into the neighborhood. Now, we'll kind of generate our own storms as we go on through the afternoon hours here, just the heating of the day. Again, it's a typical summertime-like pattern for us. Futurecast shows a good deal of sunshine once we break up the low clouds and fog late morning into the early afternoon hours. And then with that upper disturbance, that vortex coming from the Ohio Valley convection, that potentially could touch off an isolated storm for us inland late this afternoon. But again, isolated. 1-2 cells popping, hit and miss, 5 or 10 minutes, it rains itself out. Low clouds and fog again overnight tonight. And then as we go through the day tomorrow, the Futurecast trying to show a little bit better chance of rainfall I don't think that's the case. I don't see the upper level support for it. But if it does develop, it will be west of Highway 258 tomorrow. And then we'll still continue with that moist flow with the Bermuda high setting off the southeast coast of the United States. And again, this is a very typical summertime-like pattern with nothing really moving through in the atmosphere. That upper level ridge kind of held right over the Ohio Valley all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico, with just weak little upper disturbances coming through our neighborhood on the eastern side of that upper level ridge. And you'll see Futurecast does try to generate some scattered showers and storms in here late Tuesday night going into Wednesday morning. Not so sure that is going to happen either, but definitely we'll be dealing with the potential for low clouds and fog as we head on through the early morning hours. So spring officially begins at 1:14 tomorrow morning. Yeah, we'll be seeing low clouds and fog around with temperatures potentially near 80 degrees tomorrow afternoon. And then the slim chance for isolated storms somewhat Wednesday. I could even see it happening Thursday or Friday because that upper level ridge isn't really going to be over us. Right now I'm thinking Saturday going into Sunday is when that upper level low pressure is finally going to have an impact on our weather. But if it's slower to move eastbound, that potentially could delay that till early next week. That's something we'll continue to keep you updated on. So enjoy this last day of winter, which is going to be feeling more like summer as we go on through this week. I'm Storm Track 12 meteorologist Les Still.